Hello, people. I am Lee Cole. I'm here with my partner and friend, James Proctor, and we're going to have a very, very interesting conversation again, a very controversial conversation. And,
Yep.
James, how are you doing today?
Hey, doing really well, Lee. You know, a lot going on still on this story.
Yes, and people are going to say, what story? The story last show when, well, we're going to play it. This is what we're going to be talking about because this is all over the place now in the mob genre. A lot of people discussing it. A
Yeah.
lot of people who are Joey or like Joey a lot, his
Hmm.
show. I like Joey's show a lot, but this
Hmm.
is a very controversial thing that he said, and we're going to talk about Sonny Franzese. He said that Sonny Franzese was kind of a rat for associating with his son, and we're going to
Right.
give you some quotes. And but first, let me play you what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, this is Michael Franchese's lawyer. He DM'd me on my Instagram. Hi, Joe. I represent Michael Franchese, and we'd like to discuss possibly having you on his podcast. Let me know if there's any interest on your end. Thank you for your time and consideration. And I'll take pictures of this and show you on the so you can read it for yourself.
Absolutely.
Never. I don't entertain lying rats. He told. That's my answer. I never entertain lying rats. Here's his response. He told me the government never considered him a cooperating witness, but I am not a fan at all of how he associated with the biggest rat of all time, Sammy. And I agree with you that Michael should have never taken a plea deal. First of all, I never said nothing about a plea deal. I'm going to put up so you read it. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about a plea deal. And Sammy, I don't know nothing about Sammy. He invited me on his show too. The fucker, I wouldn't pee on him if he was on fire. And then he says I launched his wine here in Michigan, and we became friends. Growing up here, I was hanging out at the racetrack with Taco, so we had things in common. I have my uncle that lives in Florida that owns a Carolina Ale House down there. Would love to meet you when I'm there next. My response, he's a lying motherfucker. He knows he's a rat. His whole family knew he was a rat, including his father. Well, I didn't hear back from him. That was 9 o'clock at night. This morning, the lawyer texted back and said his father was a stand-up guy. He did 50 straight years. Friends of mine knew him. Well, he did 15 with him at FCI Minorville or something. Wherever the fuck he was. Yeah. I said, yes, you're right. His father did 50 years. But he still condoned what his son did. He knew his son was a rat. He used to make him visit him, and he picked him up from jail when he got out on his last bid. And he put his bail up for him and sent him commissary. So in my opinion, if you condone your son being a rat, you're just as bad as him. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's the truth. He knew his son was a fucking rat, and he fucking talked. His son put Nobby Walters away. The guy.
Okay, so I don't want to get. We all know that. We all know that what Michael Francis did wrong, right? And we've done shows where we agree with Joey 100% that he it was an informant, even though Michael doesn't want to call himself an informant. Uh, would you say that that part we pretty much agree with, James?
Yeah. Yeah. On that part, we agree. Yeah. One thing that I wanted to mention also at the very beginning, he said that Michael, and we'll get back to Michael, but just want to make one comment where he's talking about Sammy. And I think that's the reason Sammy went off on Joey a couple of weeks ago is that Joey told him he would not be on the show with him. I think he was definitely invited, and Sammy, I think, was butthurt over it. But as far as Michael goes, or Sonny, I mean, condoning it, I don't know if condoning is the right word. I don't know if I've seen him say, yeah, that was right to do what he did. I know that he put hits out on both of his
And,
kids.
and we're going to and let's discuss that. And James, I
Yeah.
don't mean to cut you off right
No,
there.
no, you're not.
But I just want to put up real quick about Sandra Peddie.
Yeah.
I talked to Sandra Peddie this morning. Sandra whoever knows Sandra, they know that she's been on our show twice.
Mm-hmm.
Very good shows. And Sandra is the author of the book Sonny. She is also an investigative reporter for Newsweek.
Mm-hmm.
And when I told her I said, I want your opinion on Joey saying this. She said that's absolutely ridiculous, and he should have never said it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because first of all, she did this book. And she spoke. She has hundreds of hours of interviews with FBI agents, and they said they went in. Now, Sonny actually did 30 years. People keep saying 50, but it was 30 years. It's still a long time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't 50. He got out, he violated.
Yeah, I think they confused where he was sentenced to 50 years, and
right.
But
Sandra
you're right.
Sandra makes that perfectly clear. It was 30 years. Okay, but Sonny, every year the FBI used to go back and sit down with him and say, Sonny, you want to get out of here? Give us some information. Sonny was the underboss at that time for a very violent family, the Columbos.
Yeah.
If Sonny Franzese wanted to rat, he could have brought down every family because he was involved in with every family, and he could have done this way before any of these other people came out.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and so we're going to have her on we're going to be doing a show with her on Saturday, and I wanted her to come on today, but of course she's an investigative reporter for Newsweek. She can't do that, but she's going to come on Saturday, and we're going to put out a show with her on Saturday, and she's going to discuss this.
Mm-hmm.
So my honest opinion about this whole thing with Joey, I believe that Joey might be right. If you look at the laws of the mafia, that he didn't do he may have not done things right, but if you put yourself out in front street and you're on the media all the time, that's kind of against the rules too, and that's kind of why a lot of people hated John Gotti. And I kind of put Joey and John Gotti at the same level when it comes to entertainment factor, going out into public, smiling, autographs, all that stuff. James, why don't you?
So I mean, I think that's a great point. I think that's very important for people to understand that there's two approaches to this. So the majority of the people, were not in that life. I wasn't in the life, obviously. But so if you look at it, you have you have the Cosa Nostra side of it. And so you have that oath where, you have to put Cosa Nostra, the boss, above your family, God, everything. And so, in that aspect, if you're told to, take out your son, your father, whatever, you have to do it, according to the rules of Cosa Nostra. But in the rules of just being a regular person, a civilian, it's saying you don't, you won't let anything get between you and your family, your father, your son, your daughter. You will defend them to the end. But at the same time, things had changed with the mafia. By the time that Sonny was out the last time, he was over 100 years old. He was 100 when he got out for the last time. And
let me ask you a question, James. Let me ask you a question. Did Sonny Franzese take a contract out on his son, John?
Yes, he took a contract out on him, and I believe Michael as well.
Okay, when he took it out on John, what was the reason why he wanted him dead?
Well, I mean, it was because of John was wearing a wire and was picking up conversations that he was having with his father and other people regarding the life. And so that was a reason, he was informant for the government.
And so what did John do when he became an informant? Did he go into hiding?
Yeah, he did. He went into Witsec, and so
And was he hiding from his father? Did he go in because he was hiding from his father?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's going because he's hiding from his father, hiding from the Colombo family. You know, there was an open hit on him that any of the families could have taken him out at the time.
Okay, now Sandra Peddie talks about in her book that the FBI believed that there may have been a contract out on Michael by Sonny, because
Right.
Michael had some doubts. So, so Sandra's going to come on the show and talk to us about that on Saturday. But is that accurate? Is there a good possibility that he also took a contract out on his other son?
Yeah, there's that possibility. I mean, it's less. What do you call it? I mean, I don't have all that evidence. I know I've heard that. You know, Sandra would know better than anyone, but from my research, there is a good likelihood that there was a hit put out on Michael, and that it was, you know, at least his father was okay with that. You know, my understanding, there was a hit. The Persicos were in power at the time, but you know, they're very angry about what happened. But also, I've heard after a few years that was not that it wasn't the case anymore. So I don't know. You know, I have no idea.
The man was mistaken because he thought he was sending this to somebody with class. Obviously, that's not the case. Now, Joey took it upon himself to call me a rat, which is okay. I've heard all of that. I've explained. There's nothing more to talk about that. Call me whatever you want in that regard. But then he went on to talk about my father. And what he said about my father is this. He said, for Sonny Franzese to associate with his son, because he said that I paid my father's bail, I picked him up when he came out of prison, that my father, Sonny Franzese, must be a rat also. Now let me tell you this, Mr. Merlino, you couldn't shine my father's shoes on his worst day. My father was one of the most stand-up guys ever in that life, and everybody knows it, even every one of your associates, and you know it also. So what you said was so totally out of line. And you know what? You would never in a million years say that to my father's face. Young man.
Well, one thing we know is Joey's not scared of nobody. I'm sure that he would say it to his father's face, but if his father was in his prime, I'm not sure if he would say it to his face, because he was a stone cold killer, plain and simple.
Yeah, everyone that people in the life and people that, you know, at least that I've talked to that was in that life, they've never thought of him as a rat. They've never thought of Sonny as anything other than a stand-up guy. Every mob guy, at least in New York, that we've talked to or been around, they have said that he is a stand-up guy. You know, he's a model of someone, and he has a lot of respect because of all that time that he did in prison. I mean, that's the thing that you hear from all of them is, man, he did his time. He just kept on getting violated. So the thing is that there's no evidence of that. I think that's just not that wasn't a good place to go, in my opinion. You know,
well, actually, for entertainment value, it is a good place to go.
For entertainment,
that's the reality of it. Because
yeah,
when people talk about you, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I got punched in the temple by Gerard. Our show took off. Publicity, good publicity, or as Vince McMahon would say, good publicity, bad publicity. It all becomes good publicity.
Well, it's better if the problem is when they're saying it, good publicity, bad publicity. That's great. The bad thing is if no one's talking about you. So
that's right. Yeah.
And so, but I agree with that as well, because, I know we talked about it a little bit before the show is either side going to get negatively affected by this? I don't believe so. I believe when Michael, has a couple 100,000 views on the video he did on Saturday. I know when Joey comes out on Thursday, I'm sure he's going to have a lot of people tuning in. They want to see is Joey going to respond or not. I'm sure
a lot of these people are hypocrites too, because they don't like what we're here doing a show. We're not taking sides. We're We're putting what we know.
Right.
We're not taking sides in this because I'm not about to say Sonny Franzese is a rat after all the research we did on him, and I'm not about to say that Joey Merlino was wrong. That's Joey Merlino's opinion, and
That's
Joey
his
Merlino
opinion.
actually has some facts to stand behind.
Mm-hmm.
This we're going to put out there, and you people, right underneath here, and tell us what you think. That's what we're asking you. We're putting this up because we want to know what you think. This is not our opinions. We come on here to report stuff. We have people that I have people that come in here, not James so much. Everybody likes James, but I get maybe 10 times a day. I'll get these people underneath that curse me out, call me stupid and everything. And you know what I say to them?
What's
I
that?
say, thank you for watching the video.
Yeah.
You can tell me all you want. You hate my guts. But thank you for watching the video. And that's
Right.
what entertainment is. We are in an entertainment industry. So our job is to put this stuff out, James.
Yeah, it is.
And Michael came after us. Sammy has coming after us. Hardcore. Dominic Tricali is coming after us in the beginning. We even had Mikey Scars came after us at one time. So we've had everybody come at us.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting is that anytime that we do shows about someone, Sammy or Michael, they keep on thinking, oh well, that's the only reason that we're growing is because of, oh, you're riding on Sammy or you're riding on Mike. But it's just not true because they have that same the detractors will have that same story. It's just they'll change the person that was
Yes,
supposedly
they'll
riding.
change like right now. We go with who's hot, what people want to hear. We're not going to do shows. Listen, we are not mob historians.
Right.
We do mob news.
Mhm.
That's the difference. We report, but then you got mob historians. We'll do a historic story at times, but people on here want to know up to date stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And
we
that's
try to
what we
keep them
use our shorts for. That's where a lot of our history stuff is.
Yes,
on
our history
shorts.
is. If you look at our shorts, and James, and if you look at our shorts, James does a lot of history, and I do a lot of current stuff.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's the difference between James and I when we do our shorts.
Right.
James has his part of the show. I have my part of the show, and that's just how we do it. But
Mhm.
we put a lot of history on our page.
Mhm.
So our community page is full of pictures from histories of the mob.
People
We
love
put
that.
up polls. We try to do all these things. And here's this thing: if this doesn't get to people, I'm going to put something up. If this doesn't get to people, you really have no heart. But don't get me wrong. Sonny Franzese did a lot of evil things, and if there's a heaven and hell, we know where he's at. Here we go.
What about John Jr.?
Can't answer that. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe all the drugs he took screwed his mind up. Maybe the medicine he took brought something out of him that he never knew existed. I don't know. I can't answer that. This one had broke my heart. He would be the last guy I thought would do that. But he did it. What can I do?
I love my brother. I mean, I practically raised him when my dad was away. So, I mean, I feel horrible about what happened to him. I hope to God he straightened out his life and that he has some peace and he goes on and lives good, because I would love for him. This may get me in trouble. My father might be mad at me.
Okay, was Sonny considered indigent at the end of his life?
What do you mean by that? Not having
Was he
money?
considered indigent?
That's a good question. Yeah, I
He
mean,
was. He was.
yeah.
He absolutely was.
yeah.
I mean, if you read Sandra's Peddie's book, it says he was considered indigent. He was in an indigent nursing home.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. He had no money on him.
No.
It's like if you go to prison and you have nobody sending you stuff, you're considered indigent in prison, and you get the special stamps and the special envelopes and all that stuff. So they abandoned their father. And we talked about this. And Michael came back at us and said, no, I didn't abandon. Yes, you did. They didn't go to his funeral. Okay. And so, these are the things that you have to remember. This doesn't sound like he's too accepted, that Sonny was being too accepting of his sons. When they showed up, and visited him one time, maybe,
Yeah.
and John one time, and he said to John, well, it must have been the drugs or whatever. The man was over 100 years old. Why don't people remember his age, James?
Well, and I know that he's asked him why he was there, and then he just kind of laughed it off, saying, you're just a crazy kid or something. And yeah, Michael, I think he went more than one. I don't know. I don't know all this.
Once or twice. He did not.
I
He didn't
don't
go
know
more
the
than once or twice.
details, but
Let's not give him too much credit, James. He doesn't deserve
yeah,
it.
yeah, I just don't know. That's all I'm saying. But what we do know is that Sonny, when his heart was broken over what John did, and I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if the Colombo family, and that's not even the same family. It's pretty much dead itself. Most of the people are, I don't know. It's just a sad story, is I guess what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's a sadder story that the man was abandoned by his sons.
Yeah.
That's the sad story. That doesn't sound like the son's very accepting of them. Matter of fact, the fact that Michael was very unhappy that he admitted that he put a contract out on his John. So we can go on and on and on. So people are going to feel what they want to feel here. But I'm going to tell you something. I've been going on some of these shows, and then we put up a poll, and close to 70% of people in our poll disagreed with Sonny being called
Around,
of
yeah, by
what
Joey.
Joey said.
Hmm.
What Joey said about Sonny, they disagreed. And what do you think about that? Were you surprised that the majority of the people, and a lot of these were Joey's people, they said we love Joey, but we disagree with him on this? Were you
No, I'm
surprised
not.
by that?
I'm not surprised because I know how important family is to people, or most people, and I'm not surprised. I'm actually would have thought it'd been maybe even higher, 80 or 90% in favor of or against what Joey said. It's just, that's it. I just think that, if he had not brought um, Sonny into it, then I don't think you would have had that much criticism. Yeah, I mean, you have people, that say that Michael cooperated, was, all that, and we've talked about that. So I think if he had just said that, Michael wouldn't have even said anything, because that's, he's, and you don't hear Michael really go off except when people talk about his father. I think that's kind of where he got upset with us, was because we're saying, he didn't go to his funeral and things. And so I think that's a sore spot for Michael. But, I'd be upset too if someone was saying that about my father, just to be honest.
I personally think that what Joey did was brilliant when he did go in on Sonny, because people are going to listen. They want to listen to his Thursday show to see what he says.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That part
They
is,
want to see.
yeah, definitely.
So it's just brilliant entertainment. People might be mad about it, but the people that are mad about it are going to be watching.
That's exactly that's exactly, and that's what you see, is that controversy sells, for good or for bad. That's just the reality. People want to see a train wreck. People like this stuff. And the thing is, that's why I'm saying is Joey's not going to lose anyone. Michael's not going to lose anyone, and so, Joey may gain more from it, just because
he gets more and more he gets
yeah.
bigger and bigger every week.
And
And he's only doing one show a week and he's growing. Imagine
Yeah.
if he was doing 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
And people that get mad at me for having this show and say, oh, you put the stuff we put out on Joey, I believe is truthful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we put it out. When Joey has something to say, when he attacks these rats, nobody has been doing it as good as him. So that needs to be put out, so he can explain. And he explained it very, very well on a few occasions. I'll give you an example. I'm going to play 2 more videos. This is one thing that Joey said, and this is, if you listen to this, it shows you how powerful Joey's words are in here.
But now, Joe, this neighborhood.
This is my neighborhood.
I mean, how great was it?
It's the Italian market. We're going to go outside and I'll show you the street. We walk down the street. This is my neighborhood where I grew up at. I could come back here. Yes, There's other people that you just can't come. Go to the Bronx. And go see if you're welcome. Go give turkeys out. Everybody here loves us. The people love us. The kids love us. We help everybody. Right. We're not bad guys. Don't believe what these fucking idiots tell you.
Yeah.
But one thing for sure is they can't go back to their neighborhood. All you fucking lying rats, go back to Brooklyn, go back to New York, go come back to Philly. You just can't go nowhere. Right. They don't want you.
They open us with open arms, especially.
They love us.
They love you.
They love us.
We're in the Fitzwater Cafe. Guy picks up the check this morning.
Yeah.
Never seen him a day in our life.
Yeah. And we're working on it now, probably after the holidays. We're going to go to the Youth Study Center.
Okay, so when you see that, that's what I'm talking about. That's why people have taken to him so much.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I mean, that's the part that I like. Even though they only do 1 show a week, they'll go out to the neighborhood. They will go to these restaurants, and that gives them publicity. Gives the restaurants publicity. The way they market and the placement. They call it placement of, and it's not in your face. It's subtle. And so it's like when they brought Angelo Lutz on, they bring in these people from the neighborhood. That's stuff that people are interested in. And so that's a way that Joey is able to relate to the common man. That's really what they're trying to do. And then you have these saying, hey, I can go back to the neighborhood. You see, that's one of the biggest statements that I've ever heard about. That's one thing informants aren't able to do is go back to the neighborhoods. And so that's
he put a dig in there toward Dominic Cicali.
Yeah,
because he said the Bronx.
Yeah, right.
So we know that Dominic comes on and goes after him all the time and he counters. But that was a perfectly placed 5-second dig, not even a 5-second dig. Like,
yeah, exactly.
That's what put out
right.
He knows how to attack people without even saying their name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And let's see. Okay, and I'm going to play to give you an idea to show that we're not here supporting Michael Franzese. We're trying to report what's going on. This is something Michael said about this show. And
hi, Mike. Hope your Thanksgiving was good. It was great. Michael, you got to have Angel Gotti on your show, or she would love to have you on. Let me tell you something. I have a lot of respect for the Gottis. I really do. I understand Angel standing up for her father. I do the same for mine. And look, my father and I had a lot of differences. We really did. After I walked away from the life, especially, we patched things up. Was it ever the same after that? No. A lot of people want to talk about the personal relationship between me and my dad. They don't know. Believe me, they don't know. I don't like to put that out there. This is personal stuff between me and my dad. Was my dad a stand-up guy in that life? Absolutely. My dad died with his boots on. He would never say a word. But on the other hand, my family was destroyed. My mother, 33 years without a husband, at the end of her relationship with my dad, she hated him. She blamed him for everything that went wrong. What went wrong? My brother, 25 years a drug addict, ended up going into the program testifying against my father. My brother, his son, my sister dies of an overdose of drugs at the age of 27. My younger sister, 41, dies of cancer. She was never mentally stable. All this horrific stuff happened in my house. And the one thing I resented about my dad, I was upset. Maybe that's the wrong word, resentment. It's not a Christian word. But you know what it was? After his third violation, I said, Dad, you cannot stay in New York. The family's falling apart. Let's get out. Come out to California with me. Move the whole family out there. Nobody's going to bother you. He wouldn't do it. It was more important for him to stay there and stay involved in that life. And how did it serve him? He got violated 2 more times and then went to jail on a conviction. So what did it do? And the family just destroyed. Destroyed.
Okay, does that sound like him and his father actually had a great bond? That sounds like a lot of anger going on there. He respected his father for not being a rat, something that many people say he is, including us. But if you listen between the lines, he's not praising his father, is he?
No, but I totally 100% agree with him that life does destroy families. I mean, but I totally agree with it. That's not. I mean, it was destroyed. What what his his mom, Sonny's wife, went through, and what it destroyed the family. Everything that went on.
And then
Sonny put the life above everyone else.
and the
Everything.
guy that ratted on Sonny that was with John when they ratted together. Well, the guy that ratted on Sonny put out that Sonny's wife beat him up one time at the house. Okay, and then I read the real story behind it and what the wife said. The wife goes, "I never hit my husband. That's all BS. If I was going to go after my husband, I'd use a knife."
Yeah.
That's what she said. What Tina is it? Was that
Tina's
her name?
wife, yeah, and
Well, that's what
it's a
Tina
sad
said.
situation.
And
It's just sad.
and that's what the feds do. They plant this stuff to try to bring people down, to make them look even worse. They did it to John Gotti. They did it to John
Oh,
Jr.
yeah,
They did it to Joey Merlino. They put stuff out there to bring these people down in the eyes of other people. And they praise people like Sammy Gravano, the King Rat himself.
Yeah, and but that's what you see is that there's a lot of what you call the FBI and the feds. There's a lot of media manipulation when it comes to organized crime. You have these stories like Get Gotti and stuff, and you have when you look at Get Gotti, for example, you see if you really look at it, it's the feds. It's a love fest for what the feds did. It's say, look at us, look what we did, and it wasn't any sort of journalistic, balance
No.
at all. And so the feds influence that stuff, and of course they're going to say, they put out what benefits them, and they have all the power, they have all of the money and prosecutors. They got anything that they want to put out there, and they allow these informants to lie on the stand because all it matters at the end is they get that conviction.
And and that's one thing nobody could ever do with Joey Merlino is saying that he's a stand-up guy, because when it comes to the mob life, Joey Merlino is a stand-up guy.
Yes.
So is Sonny Franzese, is what many people are saying. So what I like people to say, okay, we just did this show right underneath here, because I'm going to tell you what, there's a moderator that used to be part of our show, and he wrote that he kind of insulted Sonny. And then I went back and we did a couple shows on Sonny, and he praised Sonny. So because of the fact that it was said by a guy that he's close to right now, he decided to forget about the positives he said about Sonny. And a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people that liked Sonny yesterday are saying, "Oh, Joey's right," or vice versa. People that like Michael, they're going to say Joey's wrong. I think it's brilliant the way it was done by Joey. Do I agree with it? What he said? No. As for the entertainment perspective and level, it was brilliant. James,
Yeah.
why don't
What
you
I'd like
finish
to
it
say
off?
about Joey Merlino is that just one thought about this is that look at and this is something that John Gotti Jr. went through. He went through 4 or 5 trials. You look at Joey Merlino. When you have a target on your back like him, and you have all these guys that the government will pull up to have as witnesses, Joey Merlino has anger towards these cooperating witnesses because they're lying informants, that they don't tell the truth. And he was facing life in prison. John Jr. was facing the death penalty. So that's why Joey is so adamant, and why he's gets animated when it comes to anything dealing with informants. And typically he's just been going after the ones that have came to his cases, that's been involved in his cases. But I think that the one part I feel bad about is getting Justin involved in it. I mean, that's an unfortunate thing, because Justin was not representing Michael Franzese, and
Okay, so there's a lot of people that's seen what we put up last time, and this is from Justin,
yeah.
and he sent this to you. This was what he was sending back and forth with.
Yeah, and that's what he sent to Joey Merlino, the last one, and Joey didn't
and he
read
screenshot
that.
this and sent it to you.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so he's saying, Joe, I'd like to clarify a few things with you. I'm not an attorney. I do not represent Michael Franzese in anything other than his wine brand. I made a mistake reaching out to you about his podcast before checking with Mr. Franzese. He did not know I was reaching out to you. Again, he never suggested in any way that he wanted to be on your podcast. Or are you? That was strictly a suggestion on my part. Clearly, my mistake. Now, a lot of people are saying that Justin's out there saying this because, and I want your honest opinion, James, that because Michael got caught using this guy to get to Joey, and now Michael's trying to lay the blame on him. After speaking to Joey, do you believe that Michael Franzese put Justin up to this?
No, I don't believe that. And in fact, what Justin told me is that he hadn't been talking to Michael. They hadn't really spoke in a year, even though that they were involved in the wine business. He's not involved anymore in the wine business. I think what's confusing is that in his LinkedIn, he was saying that he's a partner in Franzese Wine. And I even thought that he was like the booking person originally, but there's no truth to that. And so, I think that unfortunately he kind of put himself out there and made people think that he was more involved and closer to Michael. And what he said is the reason he did this, he was thinking that if he could get this thing arranged between Joey and Michael, that it would look good for him in Michael's eyes. But the guy was definitely just devastated. That's why he came out to us, because he saw that we could maybe reach out. He wanted us to reach out to Joey, and have him read what was said. He was devastated by it. I don't
And
believe it.
I'm sure Joey read that. So,
And Michael did talk to Michael actually called Justin the next morning or that day and said what's going on. Michael was very upset with him, but as a Christian, at the end of their conversation, he said, I accept your apology on that. That's what happened.
Well, this is stuff we want to report to you people. You're going to make that decision now, but I'm going to tell you one thing, and you guys have to understand this. Please subscribe to this channel, hit the like, hit the reminder bell. Thank you. And also, there's a Cash App if you want to send us money. Otherwise, if you don't, I don't want to talk to you no more. But anyway, I'm kidding. Okay, and also, let's go to this next thing we'll put up, and this is we have a Patreon page with Angel Gotti. We are partners with her, and the link will be underneath here if you want to join that Patreon page. And 33 years ago yesterday, John Gotti was arrested for the last time. And James did a short on that. It was very good.
Thank you.
Very interesting stuff. And we're going to do a full video on that on the Patreon page, where Angel's going to talk about that day when John Gotti was busted. Yeah. And we're probably going to do that today and put it up tonight. But I just wanted to mention that to you. And also, we're too busy people. Okay, we have a wrestling channel that you can subscribe to. It's called Wrestling with the Devil. If you go over there and subscribe to it. We don't do as much work on that as we can because our channel here is getting busier and busier, but we will be doing stuff there. So please go over there and subscribe. We'll drop when we're going to be doing our next show, and we're going to do a live. And thank you guys for supporting us and being patient with that channel, because we grow every day. James, the way we grow every day is we don't really expect it. It's just happening, right?
Yeah, it is. In fact, I want to let everyone know that I've neglected a little bit to answer as many comments. I'm trying. I'm going to make it a point to, allocate a block of time to be doing that, because I've kind of gotten behind on responding to comments. I've seen stuff. I mean, we're getting a lot of comments from our older videos and shorts, and I don't want people to think that we're not responding. I know Lee, that you're responding to these.
Yeah, but James, you know, you got a great point there, because there was a time that I could sit down in 5-6 minutes and respond to everything from the day. Now, when I start, I get down, I'll do like the first 100. And then I'm like, I can't do no more of these. I'll be here all day. People are responding to things. You know, we're doing 40,000 views a day, and you know, our show's just going up and up.
There was 500 and something comments on the video just from Saturday. You know,
The
and
one
like
that we
a
did
day
Saturday
later-
had over, and the one that we did the day before that had almost 500.
Yeah,
So, but we
I'm
can't do that
trying.
without you guys.
yeah.
Without you guys, people. I mean, you're the one that makes us, and we appreciate
Definitely
it.
not complain about it. Thank you. But what I'm saying is I'm going to make more of an effort to, you know, I'm going to allocate a block of time where I go through it, because,
Okay.
you know, you
Actually,
guys.
he's going to allocate that time other places. Okay. He's trying to say that right now, but his he's not allocating, he's like right now working in so many little spots, because James has his own business.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's in the middle of doing some searching right now for stuff.
Yeah.
And he has his regular life. He has a beautiful wife, 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And he has to take care of them. Me, I live in a senior citizen community. I get in this chair all day with these people behind me. I have so many people that come in here and call me F you, Lee, go to hell. But you know what? I like to say one thing to those people. As long as you look at the videos, you can say whatever you want. Right?
Yeah.
And I tell you guys that. James, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Everybody take care.